Hello, fellow streamers. In tonight's episode of Let's Talk Streaming, episode 12 of the first season, we're going to look into how to create a better Instagram intro thumbnails for our repurposed content. Why? Because I've noticed that on Instagram is the toughest place for my post-stream content, which is my repurposed content of the stream, to be seen. And I also have catch the cold, so if my voice goes up and down and it's a little bit nasty, it's because of a cold. But I'm streaming because I'm pursuing my goals and being consistent. We talked about that in yesterday's stream, how you can reach your first 100 viewers, and consistency was a common theme, just coming back again and again and again. So here we are. But first, let's head on over to Instagram so I can actually show you guys what I mean. So here's my Instagram account, streaming 0 to hero. And I don't really get likes or views here. And from what I've heard, Instagram can be a very, let's say, visual place in terms of how your videos and reels look. And as we review this, we can kind of see, yeah, we're not really getting any views, 2, 3, 10, 4, and so on. And then we have an outlier, just 108. So compared to, all the other views I'm getting, this is massive. I mean, 108 views isn't a lot, but compared to what I've had in the past, 108 is a massive spike. Why? Could it be because for this one, I had this type of graphical element of it versus this other thing, which isn't really, you have to actually look at it. So I thought we're going to try this out. And how does this relate to streaming? It's because how to grow as a new streamer with 0 followers or very few followers, and even after the fact, being a part of YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and these other social platforms is key for growth. Because it's more ways that people can find you, even if you're not streaming, and to after the fact, after your stream, be able to consume your content. So let's see if we can figure this one out in terms of Instagram and see just how important having, let's say, a nice, good-looking Instagram intro image is. So we're gonna open up our Affinity 2 photo, which I'm using instead of Adobe Photoshop because, I don't Adobe Photoshop and subscription fees. I don't like that so much. Affinity Photo 2 is a one-time payment and then you own it. That I like. Back how Photoshop used to be back in the day. We already know that for Instagram, I'm really going after that vertical format. So it's going to be the opposite of 1920 by 2080 pixels. So the width is going to be 1080, and the height 1920 to start off with. I'm going to hit create, and let me see if I can make it like this. Now, here we go. So a blank canvas. And personally, white and me attracts bugs. If you want to, if you're a native developer, you get that joke. So we're gonna actually make this black. Oh, colors around. There we go. All right, and then let's key off of what we already know worked was this color, and this color I just took from my branding color. I will try and see if we can reproduce this. So similar style. I just want to have a image which I can quickly tweak, so an image template you could say, and just have that statically sitting there, and then be able to reuse that for all my post-production purposes when I upload the video to Instagram. And I'm just thinking, let's start first things first. Let's start with let's do another layer. Call it highlight background. I'm just thinking about how we're going to do the composition. So I don't think I want to go 50-50. but more like I think we're gonna have to start to actually do some guidelines here. Where is it? Here we go, view guides. And I'm gonna do a vertical guide so I know where the middle is. And then horizontal guide, math, hold. That's 480. Now it's gonna be yeah, because we are doing the horizontal now. Yeah, so that works. So it's gonna be is it? We will see. So why I added the grid was I wanted to be able to center things, center align it towards the middle. And I also wanted to do some, I basically divided the length in 4 parts just so I can get a sense of the layout, let's say. And do I want to do more horizontals? Because what we had in the image that got the views, see the middle line is here somewhere. Maybe I need to do, and that would be right about here, I feel. Let's do that. So it's view guides. That figures, of course. And having a cold, my math isn't mathing at all. So I'm just going to try this out. So it's half. Staring me right in the face. So not 960 minus 480. And then we want to split the difference. So it's 240 plus 480. We want one at 720. Man, that was harder than it should have been. And I guess this one would be, it's 240, right? So it's 960 plus 240. Man, my keyboard skills today ain't where they used to be. 240, right? So 1200. And of course, we need to add this part as well. That would be 480, 240, like we said. And then it would be one 440 minus 240, so it's 1200. We already have that. Why don't I see this one here? Because we need to add it after the fact, yeah. It's actually plus 240. There you go. There, so now we have something to work with. So I think it depends on how much I want to like showcase the actual video versus the design. So I'm currently thinking that's half. This better represents what we had here, right? So we selected that, so let's pick a color. Bucket. And then we need some padding to the edges, don't we? So we're gonna do, let's try 15. Around. Just so we don't get like a text box and it squeezes out outside of the edge. And then we will have so horizontal levels 1920, 1905. So 1065. There we go. Now we have a border, and then it's just very easy to set the frame text tool. Since we now introduced a new design element, you see this border here, but the text goes down here. We are deviating from the design pattern. So we need to do from here, and I guess we need to do it, from here too. So we need on both sides a 15 pixel border. Now, which one was that? So it was 1, 2, 3, 4th down. The 720. So that's what, 705, and then 1735. Sorry, 735. There we go. Now we're respecting the design elements we just entered. All right, so do text box. We already had one. Move it up. There we go. Oh, that's tiny. You see that up here? Blow it up. Lorem ipsum is just a standard like placeholder for text when you don't know what to write. You have something to look at. Can actually do. There we go. That's gonna be enough. Obviously, I wouldn't use this much text. So maybe down here. I'm just trying to anticipate future, like how the text can grow or contract depending on the title. And do I want to have a... Where was it? No, it actually was here. I'm thinking if I want to have a headline and then a subsection of text or not. Why not? Let's try it. And it would be this. I will need to do another 15 pixel border if I do that, but we can try that out first before we do that. Now I want to center this vertically. Now where do I do that? That's a great question. There we go. Nice. Exactly what I was looking for. So we're going to do, I want to try and see what happens if I do center. Now, depending on how much text or how little text or the composition, I probably will play around with it. So we could do this. We could do. So I definitely want to do center vertically, because then I don't have to worry so much about the spacing in between and not having those total of 30 pixels, 15 plus 15 equals 30 difference, like space between them. And we could do, so that is top line, and if this is center, okay. Could be. Let's try and do it like this. And then we do the same for this one. Oh no. Oh no. Wait. Undo. Okay, and that we had 12 to the left. So I will start there. There might be a bit too, but then we can blow this up size-wise a little bit more. Of course, the longer the text, the smaller the font size needs to be. But let's start like this, and let's see if we can hide the guides. I think it's a little bit too close here to the edge, but I don't mind it so much since it's vertical, and I know there's going to be a bunch of stuff here on the right coming up. And we also have some more space for it, and it's visible. I like that. And I also start to like the proportions a bit more. Like we saw, if I enable the grid here again, guides. Like we have the middle here, so it's not just a bunch of like this giant thing and then it's text. It's actually looking like, it's taking a lot of space, but it's not overwhelming, let's say. And again, the color choice was just the branding colors I chosen. Probably change later, who knows. And then black text because that's easily readable. And then I have space here for some part of the video or what I'm doing. Let's see how that would look like if I can do this. Actually, I should have that, shouldn't I? Just trying to remember where I put the image. We have one. Sorry about that. Hopefully you guys didn't hear that cough. All right. Let's just take something else. I just need something to use as a backdrop. See how it would look. Let's make it a bit smaller, shall we? Speaking of it, this is part of my streaming setup. Webcam. This was before. This was before I worked on my getting my audio better, so it doesn't sit there anymore. Do we have them on? Yeah, and this is what I use for lighting. Simple desktop lamp reflected off the wall. Start where you are with what you got. So if I just drag it like this. Now let's say if I made an arrow, and I'm just playing around with designs to see how it could look. And let's do... Now the trusted assistant helped me by making a new layer. Thank you for that. And do I want to go all caps? Depends. Something like that. One could, of course, play around with it a lot in terms of, yeah, just the text to use. Should, of course, represent what's in the video. And remove you guys. So, yeah, one can argue the color here and the composition and how it turned out, but I think this looks more like better, like a lot better compared to what we had before, which is just this, which is okay, but it doesn't seem to grab attention on Instagram as much, which is very visual. So compared to seeing this, they don't really understand what it is about. Yeah, dude, me, and some random text and some random picture, because they have no clue what that video is about. Then, do I have something else that went? Here we can kind of see like 22 views because it was very clear how to disable streaming view. And again, it was this larger chunk of things and it's easily readable, right? Similar here, actually. 79 views. Large chunk, easy to read. I think this is pretty easy to read. It's a little bit too much. I wonder what if... And of course, I have to test this out throughout various amount of videos to just see what works and what doesn't. But if, from what we saw just doing that flyby, from what I saw, if we can learn something from it, was that easy to read text and clean works, or works better. Then comes the next question, if you're going to read for, like, from text. I wonder if this having more text, or if we do something like... Let's do something like this. Can we do this here? Quite huge contrast, but let's see if we did this. Fix your audio. Audio. Top volume spike. So I'm kind of doing this based off that I had an image and I had a previous long episode in Let's Talk Streaming about how I fix the audio. Or was it a normal one? I can't remember. Anyway, so I'm just trying to, with that episode in mind, what did I talk about? What was some of the old challenges I had with audio? And what did I do to fix it? And I'm trying to recreate, let's say, this now template that we're working on here for our Instagram or other vertical format video template as an intro image. How would that look like if I was gonna do the same video again or upload this for the video? So stop volume spikes, sound natural, sound naturally. Vocalize Ellie like this? Huh? Maybe vocalize clearly. Avoid these common mistakes. I don't know, but this looks obviously the viewership is going to show us if this works or not, but at least this tells us something. Fix your audio, and actually here we come back now again why I wanted to set it up this way with the text. Now that looks like something, don't it? Could possibly be improved about more, but what I like about it, it's simple, it's repeatable, and we can easily just swap out the various components very easily. And if we're doing this for first, I'm gonna save this. And I need to start a new templates. We're gonna call this vertical flash. Now let's do intro. Actually, intro image vertical. And then I like to do always do the size afterwards. 1080 by come on, by 1920. All right. And this is the first iteration of this one. All right. Because what if we did this instead? Here I need to just make it a little bit smaller. Let's go down. All right. So improve, and I'm not now I'm doing it as if I'm doing it. Well, I'm doing it, let's say, for whatever I'm going to put out on Instagram as an output of this video, or I can either reshoot or repurpose after the stream the main concept that we just went through now, so I can pack it into a less lengthy format, so it's more snappy, to the point, short, conveying those key insights or learnings from this stream. And this is how I mean, the text might change, of course, based upon how I repurpose this, but improve. Everyone gets that your Instagram intro image. Learn from this. Let me just change the font here to 72, we said. Ah, come on. Don't do this to me. And here I was thinking I was smart. Computers, you gotta love them. All right. I think we can just call it thumbnail, because this is going to turn out into a thumbnail. And I wonder if I could actually do. Let's see if I do this. And this, what's so cool about this journey of starting as a streamer and seeing growth in how your skills develop and how you improve, just about, things like this. And I'm getting like a tremendous sense of like joy and gratefulness and gratitude around this, because I see and feel progress because I am observing my own journey, not so much tied to how many followers do I have or don't have, or how many views did I get or didn't get. It's like, no, I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm expanding, I'm making better content, better streams, better everything. And I think that's so important to keep in mind, especially as you're starting out as a new streamer, that's the focus of that initial journey before you start to get few viewers, few followers that constantly come back to you. That's the growth which you can do and absolutely control by yourself. So we're gonna lower the font size here, but not that much. And then maybe I reduce. No, I like that there. So can I make this bold? Let's see. Yes. Because here now we have like what's this video about? You can improve, and then you have your Instagram thumbnail, and then okay, how do we do that, right? So what have I covered here? Basics of layout and the design. How to use guides to help your design. I will probably rework this later. And then improve your Instagram thumbnail, basic of layout and design, how to use guides to help your design, how to use guides to make designing easier for you. What more have I talked about that could be, from this design perspective, very useful? That's interesting. The importance of just going to change this here. Keeping graphical elements consistent. Key. All right. So why is keeping graphical elements consistent? Well, that really hard. So keeping graphical elements consistent is key. Oh, that didn't flow at all, did it? And that's a cliffhanger, I guess. Now I just need to find a way to make it shorter, and we just call this something like that. And of course, consistency, like we already seen here, just makes for a more uniform and harmonious design and layout. And we actually work through this when I'm gonna open up the guides again. No, I don't want to add them. I want to show them. Here we go. Yeah, and that's when I map this out. And I also mentioned that, we need to respect it here too, because we introduced this border frame. Then we need to have that kind of around all of our sections that we drew up. And this image, I was actually able to snap to like center so that this space here should be roughly the same, if not the same as this space. So let's say if I move this up like this, just that small change. This kind of looks okay, but this then, wait, I'm gonna do this. You see, yeah, I kind of like this one, but this becomes like a kablump. So it looks more disharmonious than this. This looks much more harmonious already. That's why the consistency in design is key to making that uniform design look so much the better. It's the small details, and I used to do when I was in my early to mid teens. I used to do back when Adobe Photoshop actually had a pay once model, not subscription like they have now. I spent a lot of time in Photoshop, so much so that if something is 1 or 2 pixels, like the distance, like on the screen, on a line, I can spot that, and it can drive me bananas sometimes. But the time spent there just adjusting these small things makes for a much better, let's say, uniform look and feel. But that's also the slippery slope to design perfectionism, and somewhere you're gonna have to just say that's good enough and that'll do. Otherwise, you can work on stuff like this forever. As an example, I also see here now that I would like to center the text up to this axis here. You see that? So that's something I would like to improve. Can I do? How do I solve this? Or how do I want to solve this? Simple. By not using check marks. And using check marks as graphics instead. And now everything fell to pieces. So for this, where's our spacing between the lines? Nope. All right, so let's move back to what we had. $96, $72. Okay, so that's why it's not working, because these 96 ones is what holding the rows and their spacing, I think. So the magic I'm using now, I'm just adding a space. So I'm getting a blank space, which is 96 pixels or points. And then I'm just removing it. Because what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to squeeze it a bit. And next up, I will see if I can find a graphical resource for this instead. Or I could do this instead. I still have it. Yes, I still have it there. So we're just going to do new text box. I'm going to call it checkbox. And then I want to see what happens if I can. Because it's a little bit too light green. I want to darken it down just a little bit. We can work about that in a minute. But that's icing on the cake. So now I want to center it. Roughly like so. Copy that. Paste the new one in. That's a tricky one. Here we go. You see how it's now aligning roughly at the center and how that looks a lot better already? Coming back to why this consistency in design is key. Something like that. Now, are these guys... I'm just thinking about the vertical spacing here. So it's 17.8. Oop. Messed up. Oh, that helps. So now we see that they are... I just wanted to check that they had the same spacing here to get that uniform look. All right. And then as an image, obviously I need to change the background. I'm going to actually save this as second version of this. Easy to fall back. And let's go back to Instagram. Which one do we have that looked the worst? This one. What? No surprising. Like what? Let's see if this is gonna be going to be big enough. I actually want to do this. Where's that image? There we are. Just gonna keep it there for reference. No, a little bit more down. So it's 35. There. Gonna move that one. Move it out of the way a bit. Now this is a case where I wanted to have this one. Maybe we can have a bit of fun and do an Inception style type thing. Sorry for the cough. Hope you guys didn't hear that. Here it was. So what I'm going for like is a bad result before, good result after, and using the same image, but this didn't quite look good. That didn't make much sense. So let's undo those. Now let's have a look at the one that I actually did get more. This one. Let's zoom out a bit and see how it looks when it's smaller. Because what I'm trying to graphically convey from this, which is bad, to this, which is better. But I don't have so much width to convey that. Hmm. I guess I could go 1, 2, 3, top to bottom. What would that look like? These are all verticals, so or maybe if I make them smaller. Yeah, that can work. And then we do the thing again. Oh, come on, higher. Very pedagogical. I can't speak. Very good teaching. Very good red arrow. But we can reinforce it with some text. Do this white style. All right, so I mean, this looks a whole lot better, and at least we can understand what it is about now. So improve your Instagram thumbnail, basics of layout and design, how to use guides to make designing easier for you, consistency in design is key, discover why. And then we have a bad design and a better design. So they should get what the video is about. Now, how this is going to perform, I have no clue. I would assume better because yeah, what we had before and what we saw already, coming back to where we started, this one is the most one I've gotten, the most views, 108 views. Again, it's not a lot, but it's a growth factor, and we're always trying as streamers to improve a little bit better every day. So I'm going to see if I can replicate or grow this result. So that's what I'm going to try and do. And I hear Yoda back in the back of my mind. And there is no try, only do. Well, here we have done it. The only thing I don't like, which we're going to touch up very quickly here, is that there's so much black space underneath here. So let's see if we can just... Well, actually, let me grab these two. Something like that. All right. So now I have a vertical thumbnail for this vertical version of this one. So I think we're gone long enough here. I've been going for about an hour, 55 minutes. And the only thing on layout and design and improvements, which I want to leave you with, is especially if you like it, like working with graphical design, these type of things, is and also any skill set for that matter is that it's easy to fall into the slippery slope of perfectionism. And I've been there. It takes a long time, and you can start to see quality after a while when you get into it. And I think it's good in a way to have a phase where you chase perfectionism. However, the learning is that you can see the quality so that you can back away from being the perfect perfectionism, because that in itself is a sort of procrastination which stands in the way of actually putting your work out there. But it will help you to recognize that, let's say, and I've also seen this also private and work wise, where I see, let's say, a quality level I want to reach, but realize that that is so much higher than anything else, that here is where I could deliver, but I'm just going to go that extra mile, and that's just going to have to be good enough, and then just go for that. And it's all coming back also to streaming, where how I started where I am. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it needs to be a little bit better than it was before. When I set up the social media profiles, I didn't have any profile, any image, anything. So I just, getting something up is better than getting nothing up. And tomorrow we can see what we can do to make it better. And same thing goes here to graphical design. Do what you can, do the best you can, but do not fall down the slippery slope or perfectionism for a long term period. I'm going to leave you with that. As always, if you like this video, go ahead, like and subscribe. Follow me for more videos like this. And if you have any questions, you like something, was there something you didn't like, just go ahead and comment that wherever you see this video. And or you stuck and or need help with getting started with streaming, or you're streaming and you hit an obstacle, go ahead and comment that as well. And I can see if I can help figure that out for you. That's all. As always, have a great one, and I'll see you in the next stream.